Hello, this is Miriam.
And I'm not Miriam, so I must be Ardy.
And welcome to our YouTube channel, Live with Miriam and Ardy.
So we miss you guys. It's been quite a while since we did this format, usually interview. So we're gonna do this and we're gonna ask questions to each other. Para tayo nagde-date.
Okay.
Kunyari. Pero kakakain na natin ng sinigang today.
Nilagang saba.
Nilagang saba.
Bilang merienda.
Tsaka ano pa?
I just had a piece of chocolate.
Chocolate? Kaya pala, parang may chocolate ka pa sa ipin mo.
Meron ba?
Sa gitna.
Ano naman yun? Meron ba?
Lactation
chocolate naman yun.
Okay.
Naka-choose nila yan. Tanggalin ko muna.
Anyway, while she's doing that, HHUT, hiding under the table. As husband and wife, it's important that you ask questions when you go out on a date, things that you don't normally ask kasi usually you get into a rut. Kami, 8 years pa lang kami married, but there are those who have been married for 25 years, 30 years, 50 years or more. And I find these questions really refreshing. Tsaka, I get to know my love even more. And when you get to know your love even more, you get to love them.
Basta may utang ka sa aking date. You can ask me the question now. Basta may utang ka sa aking date.
Sige. Samang gusto. Yun. So, speaking of dates, what is your dream date?
Ay, nako. One whole weekend in the farm in San Benito. Kasi tagal ko nang hindi nagpunta sa the farm.
Okay.
At nangarap ko magpa-spa.
So, the farm.
And be in an open area, garden, with a pool, and fresh air, eating, healthy food.
This is not an endorsement of the farm.
An endorsement. It's
but
just
if you
one
want
of
to
my
endorse, if you're listening farm, then
it's just one of my secret getaways.
I've never been there.
Nung single pa ako, tuwing birthday ko, lagi ako nagbubok ng weekend doon.
Talaga? Wala kang kasama?
Girlfriend. Lesbian ako dati, joke. Hindi, meron akong friend na yayayain. Parang naman may kasama ako, no, boring naman magpunta mag-isa doon.
Okay, so you haven't been with a boyfriend or husband?
I've been with my ex-husband.
Wala ka na punta.
Dali mo na ako.
Wala mo pa.
Gusto ko eh.
Anong itatanim natin doon sa farm?
Hindi naman siya farm na pantanim. Isa siyang dating coconut farm na ginawa nilang nilang health resort.
Tapos pwede ka mag-overnight.
Tapos may spa, may pool, tapos super healthy yung mga food, vegetarian yung food, tapos pwede kang pang meron silang mga health treatments doon.
Okay.
Pwedeng, meron silang live blood cell,
count.
Bukod sa count, yung i-observe nila, makikita mo sa monitor, yung mga blood cells ko buhay. Tapos merong mukhang coronavirus yung pala cell that has been exposed to radiation. Ganon. Tapos dati kasi kumakain pa ako ng mga noodles. Hindi, pero noon madalas talaga. Tapos makikita
instant
nila
noodles.
Instant noodles. Makikita nila merong mga trans fats na lumulutang-lutang dun sa sa dugo.
May ibang trans fats.
Tapos may mga bacteria na gumaganong-ganon, tumatawid dun sa screen. Makikita mo yan dun.
But it's called the farm.
The farm in San Benito.
But there's a farm talaga there.
Coconut farm yun.
So kung farm yun, pwede magdilig?
Pwede naman. Manghiram ka ng hose.
Okay. So are you excited about going to Boracay? We're having a trip to Boracay soon.
Yes, finally, ito na yung getaway na hinaabangan ko. Punta kaming Boracay in December.
Abot ba yung in-order mong bathing suit?
Wala pa ako in-order na bathing suit. Sa Amazon ko in-order yung bathing suit. Baka ano pa yun.
Kala ko nag-order ka sa LAZADA ng bathing suit.
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Nagpapapayat pa ako.
Saan? 11. Oh, by the way, 11/11 bukas. I don't know when we're going to show this video.
Sabi mo Sunday.
So tapos na yung 11 by then. But even though tapos na, sige, extend namin yung siya ng libro namin para sa inyo. Di ba? Saan na nga ba yan?
Andito.
Yan. Sige. Pa-plug muna ha. Baka hindi nyo napanood yung IG, pero may offer kami.
Meron kaming extended 11/11 sale sa aming Lazada and Shopee store. My book, He Can Catch You When You Fall, both hardbound and softbound, are and paperback are on sale, 11% discounted and more. Pati yung The Happy Entrepreneur book ni Ardy, 11% discounted and more. Actually, this book is $397 sa National Bookstore, pero sa Lazada and Shopee store namin, $357 na lang, pero dahil meron extended 11/11 plus 11% discount pa. So you'll get that. You'll find that there. And then this one is also discounted. Magkano ba to sa ano? $297 to, di ba? Sa National Bookstore. And then how much are we selling in the Lazada store?
Less 11%.
Yun, less 11%.
Basta mura. May autograph pa.
May autograph
Ito rin,
pa.
$250 less 11%. So, sige na. Extend na namin just for you guys. Okay, so going back to our Forever Honeymooners episode. Yeah, so let's ask questions of each other. And it's been 8 years, but there's still some things that I discover about you that I did not know or that talaga, nangyari ba sa'yo yun? So kahit 8 years na, so marami pa akong discover.
Okay, cool. So who asks the question first?
Ladies first.
Okay, since you mentioned discovering, meron akong pinili dito. Okay. Meron kasi kaming list of questions from what website is this? Journeyforlifenow.org. 25 questions all married couples should ask. So I'm going to ask you question number 22. What have you learned to appreciate about me that you did not know when we were first married?
Okay. What comes to mind first is your being down to earth. I appreciate about you now.
Okay, kasi noon, akala mo high maintenance ako.
There was a time kasi, okay lang sabihin sa kanila.
Okay lang. Noon pa naman yun.
Nag-honeymoon tayo, tapos actually nagpabiro na ako pero medyo na-hurt ka. Nung nasa Hong Kong airport tayo, tapos we were walking down, and then you saw the shops on the left and the right. There's like a Prada store and a Gucci store. And then I said, namimiss mo ba na maging tay-tay?
Nakaka-offend naman talagang tawagan tay-tay.
Hindi, before naman, you admitted that you were a tay-tay before.
Oo, pero hindi ko cleaning. Hindi ko siya cleaning. Kumbaga, hindi ako proud to be one.
Okay. Yun lang. So,
it just happened that my ex-husband was showering me with expensive gifts.
So I just happened to ask if you missed it. So, and then,
do I miss my former life? Hindi naman.
Yeah. At one point, I thought when we were newlywed, baka miss niya yun. Baka kailangan pa niya. So,
hindi naman. Matagal ko nang iniwan yung ganong buhay before I met you.
Yun lang. And then what I discovered later on is that you are a Proverbs 31 woman. Meaning, if you read Proverbs 31 in the Bible, I don't know if it's Solomon who wrote that, but he describes a woman who is a woman of God who can find. Yeah. Pwede kong basahin ng konti. Okay lang?
Okay.
Yeah. Para naman to honor you too. Kasi this is how, every man, I think, should really look for his God's best and make this Proverbs 31 like a job description. Paano pakinggan ang job description? A description of how
hindi job description, but more
I mean,
of
if you
what
are,
values
kung
and virtues
kung ihahambing mo sa corporate
a
world,
Proverbs 31 woman
oo,
has.
what qualities should you look
Yun,
for
qualities.
in a woman? So
Ah.
if you're like a candidate for a job or whatever, like Miss Universe, or as a wife, you would think about certain qualities. And Proverbs 31 has those qualities. Okay, so hindi pala si King Solomon, but the words of King Lemuel. Words of King Lemuel's mother, actually. Okay.
That is
Oh,
that's the
yun.
first part of
The
the
first part.
proverb.
So dire-diretso yun. So it starts on verse 10 says, okay, the virtuous wife. Ayan. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her. So trust is something that I do have for you. So he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. Ayan. Siyempre, maghanap ka ng asawa who does good and not evil. Right? She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. Willingly works with her hands. So hindi pilit, but willingly she masipag. And that's what I also discovered about my wife. Minsan nga, kailangang pigilan mo pa that she's always looking for opportunity. Masipag siya. Even before I married her, she was into business, real estate. Masipag siya. And the Proverbs 31 wife is someone who willingly works with her hands. Yeah, so that's what I appreciate about you. She is like the merchant ships and brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household. Yan.
Yan ang hindi ko ginagawa. Kasi
Hindi
si
nga,
Yaya gumagawa
you're still
niyan.
up at night. Sometimes still working or sometimes still, yan. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits, she plants a vineyard. So this can be like metaphors. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, diba? So she considers a field. So my wife considers an opportunity, like a field is an opportunity, and buys it. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. Yeah. Is that about fitness? Lumalabas yung pagka-F.
Instructor.
Okay, she perceives that her merchandise is good and her lamp does not go out by night. So many times we say that the man is supposed to be the provider, main, of course, he's supposed to do that, pero helpmate. And what I appreciate about my wife is that she is really, really such a helpmate. And hindi siya demanding, hindi siya nagnanag, okay, about money or anything. Sometimes she asks questions, pero masipag siya, in other words. And ito pa, verse 20. She extends her hand to the poor. And yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. So many times she'll ask me, someone is asking for help, she always will ask permission if she can help this person or that person. Yeah. She is not afraid of snow for her household. Siyempre, nasa Pilipinas tayo, so wala talagang snow. But,
buhangin galing Tagaytay. Taal volcano.
For her household is clothed with scarlet. So, ibig sabihin, she's not afraid of snow because pinaghandaan na niya yung household na hindi sila malalamigan kasi nga clothed na sila. But in the same sense, like she's not afraid if there's a natural calamity because, and that's true, because she's prepared.
Meron na kami mga go bags.
Yun, my wife has prepared.
Which reminds me, kailangan kong i-update.
Nung panahon nung nagkakaroon ng scare about earthquakes, naghanda talaga siya. Ang dami niyang prepare ng mga cans of biscuits, backpacks. The backpacks have all these emergency kits, from food, flashlights, kompleto yan. So once something happens, you just have to grab it and then, which reminds me, we should have one in the car at all times.
And I should update our backpacks.
And talaga siya, very diligent in doing that. And even when Taal volcano erupted, she was there first providing all the face masks for us. At ginawa pa niyang business.
Binenta ko sa mga kapitbahay.
Nagbenta siya ng mga face masks and tama-tama, that was Jan-Feb, and then nag-pandemic. So tuloy-tuloy ang pagbenta niya ng face mask during the pandemic. And Wow, she is so masipag. So I really appreciate you. Verse 23 says, her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies sashes for the merchants. And by the way, go on her Instagram. She has an Instagram channel that is called where you sell your stuff. Yeah.
moveoutsale.by.Miriam Q880.
Ayan, lalagay namin yung link sa baba.
Yun, kasi maglilipat kami ng bahay. So, nagde-declutter kami.
Yun.
Hindi naman pwedeng dalhin lahat.
You'll find out where we plan to move on December 1 and 2 or 3 or 4, and we'll do a live
We're gonna
live stream.
reveal it na?
We'll reveal soon, yeah. We can share the journey
Okay.
and how to prepare. Kasi alam mo, naghahanap sa YouTube, walang mga ganun sharing. So there should be something like that, I think. Okay. And last few. Okay. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. So kind.
So kind. Sabi ni Elijah, so kind to himself.
Okay, kasi may model siya. Ikaw yan. She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay. Her children rise up and call her blessed.
Call her mama breast milk.
Blessed ka na. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all.
Wow. You're so generous.
Charm is, ito yung famous part. This is Proverbs 31, verse 30. Charm is deceitful and beauty is passing. So I doubt if your beauty will pass, but it's true. Beauty is passing. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Yeah. Give her of the fruit of her hands and let her own works praise her in the gates. And I have a note here and it says, thank you, Lord, for my wife. She is truly a woman who fears the Lord.
Wow. Na-realize ko, parang buhat bangko pala yung tinanong ko.
Hindi mo naman siguro akalain na I will cite this.
Oh.
But it is a woman who wrote Proverbs 31. It is the words of King Lemuel's mother, siguro to her daughter-in-law. Natuwang-tuwa siya sa kanyang daughter-in-law. And bihira lang yun, di ba? Usually, mga in-laws, ganyan sila.
Away.
Pero ito, pinuri niya yung kanyang daughter-in-law.
Oh.
And my mom also. My mom adores you and is grateful and thankful when she first met you. Sabi niya, I'm glad it is you.
You know, I'm so blessed that I have a mother-in-law like your mom. Kasi she's very welcoming and she doesn't meddle in the affairs of the home. In fact, she's very much willing to contribute in terms of, you know, when she's over, she wants to make sure that everyone is well fed. And even when I was in the hospital and newly, I just had undergone surgery, cesarean surgery with my first pregnancy kay Elijah. Siya pa talaga yung nagsusubo sa akin ng pagkain.
Talaga.
Tapos siya yung nagluluto ng mga malunggay food. Diba? Tapos nung si Elijah nagsimulang mag-eat ng solid, siya pa talaga yung nagluluto, nagpe-prepare ng food niya, diba? To be stored in the freezer. So I really, really appreciate your mom and also
Shout
your
out
whole
to Mami
family.
Quarry. Yes.
I'm so blessed with great in-laws. Okay, so ikaw naman, my turn naman to honor you. What are the things I appreciate you that I didn't? What are the things I learned to appreciate about you that I did not know when we were first married? Well, I appreciate that you're really a great dad. But parang I somehow knew that na when I have observed you and Joshua together. Remember when Joshua celebrated his birthday and we treated him to GCs in that, what's that carnival? Kingdom,
Enchanted Kingdom.
Kingdom, diba?
Yeah, we got his classmates. And,
But
yeah.
his classmates, and
Uh,
I witnessed how you were a great dad to him, yung
Mm.
relationship niyong dalawa, how you were both so close,
mm,
how you were
Mm.
so excited for him to
Mm.
be, to be with his friends
mm,
and
mm,
going about and taking all the rides that you both
Mm.
can ride.
mm,
Doon ko na-appreciate how you could be the best dad. And then after having married you,
mm.
parang wow, all the more talagang confirmed
Talaga.
that you're a great dad. Kasi looking at how you are so concerned about Joshua and his education, and then also our kids Elijah and baby Ziki, that you're willing to share the burden of
Mm.
late nights,
Mm.
sleep deprivation, and all the mess of newbornhood.
Mhm.
And you're really there. You're really there for me to support me in this journey. And it's not easy, ha? It's not easy to be the partner of a wife who just gave birth cesarean na hindi masyado makabangon, tapos kailangan may karelyebo
Mm.
with the newborn sa pagpapalit ng diaper, pagbaburp, tapos biglang papasok yung isa na kailangan ding alagaan, di ba?
Mm.
So I really, really appreciate that about you, and also how you intentionally make time to be with each of our children one-on-one, because you want to make sure that you want them to make them feel loved,
Mhm.
and you want to uh, add value to their lives by speaking, prophesying to them, speaking God's word to them, encouraging them, especially with Joshua. And I see that even with baby Ziki, young as he is, 3 months, diba? Parang I see you speaking to him and he's just listening, and you're already speaking blessings to him. I mean, that's what dad's role is about, diba? To be the priest and the prophet for the family. The priest being, God's representative for the family and for the children, and also to be a prophet for them, speaking life to them, guiding them, sharing your wisdom. And I really, really appreciate that about you. You're not just a great husband to me, but you're also a great father to our children.
Time out na.
Parang fake naman yung kiss mo! Ano ba yun?
Okay. Get a room now. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. I love appreciating you.
Okay. You should do this more often.
Alam ko kasi ano mo yun eh, love language mo yun, di ba? Words of appreciation. Apart from touch.
Okay.
Ayan, may points na ako. San Benito Farm. San Benito Farm.
Sign like natin. Okay, anyway. Sure.
Wow! Ayan naka-record yan dito Sure daw
I-edit yan.
Ipopost natin.
So yun ang dream weekend with me. Okay. So we have to,
that's my dream weekend.
aside from Boracay, you have to make even more milk. All right.
Teka, sa start nung live na to, binanggit natin pupunta tayo sa Boracay. Tapos kanina binanggit mo, siguro i-reveal na natin kung saan tayo lipat in December. Di parang sinabi mo na rin
Wala pa, hindi pa kasama yun. Wala pa yun. Wala pa yun. Hindi pa tayo
kanina may binanggit
nagre-record.
kang Boracay. Basta i-edit out mo na.
Okay.
Okay,
Item
what's
number
our
10.
next question? Okay.
I like discussing the future. If you had 3 wishes to wish for our future, what would they be? There's something you can ask your spouse, diba? What are 3 wishes to wish for our future? And what would they be? What are you?
For the whole world or just for our family?
Hindi pang Miss Universe ng buhay ko. Sa buhay natin.
Sa buhay natin.
Yeah.
My wish
Our
for...
future not the world's future, but
our future. Bilang mag-asawa or for our
family.
For the family.
Yeah. Mag-asawa, family. Our. So I think kasama yung family.
Well, my heart's desire is for our children to grow into godly. And I think it starts with us, and we need to invest in their lives, invest time to share about God and God's great plan for them. Para young as they will really learn to love God, get to know Him, be attracted to Him, surrender their lives to Him, so that they will walk into God's purposes for their lives.
Yeah.
Like that is my number one wish for our kids.
For kids to know God and walk with Him.
Yeah, and walk in God's purpose for them.
Yeah.
Kasi parang there's no other purpose than God's purpose that will bring you fulfillment, bring you fruitfulness, bring you satisfaction. Only God's purpose. Kasi noon, I walked in my purposes and that didn't make me completely happy. So, and now that I'm walking in God's purposes, I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I'm content. I may not be living the luxurious life I used to live before that my ex-husband provided. But now I'm content with you. I'm happy with you, what you've provided for us, what God has provided for us.
Yeah.
So great. 3 wishes. Joshua,
can I just tell them? It reminds me of the verse in Timothy, I think. It says, great wealth is contentment and godliness is great wealth.
True godliness and contentment, it's in itself great wealth.
Yeah. So yeah, it's true.
True godliness and contentment.
Natuto rin ako maging content during this pandemic. That less is more, simple is better. Need to let go of so much stuff. And as we prepare to move out, I realize we have so much stuff that we have accumulated individually and as a couple that we need to let go of. So,
mag-LAZADA kaya tayo ng mabibenta natin.
Pwede.
May
last store na tayo.
Move out. Okay.
Pwede natin yun. Good ideas. Yeah? Proverbs 31 wife talaga. Okay.
So ano yun? One more. Is that what's your wish for our future?
And then I really wish for our children, especially our eldest, Joshua, and down to Elijah and Ziki, and kung pagpalain pa tayo ng isa pa, is really for them to walk with the Lord. And kasi yung tragedy talaga ng buhay is when your children turn their backs or never get to follow God's purposes and experience, God's love and having a relationship with Him. Parang yun ang pinakamasakit lang sa akin to see your children not follow that path. And many times, that's my greatest fear. So that's why I spend a lot of time with Josh and like this morning. Kasi the past few days, I realized I just let him be and stay in his room and have fun with his friends and take classes. Pero if you leave him by himself, the Bible says that they'll find foolishness things to do. So kailangan tayo ng guidance. So this morning we started doing our morning sessions again, and I'm happy. And I get to discover his heart. Without spending time with your children, you won't discover what's in their heart. Diba? And a shepherd should know the condition of their flock. So as the shepherd of the family, so going back to the question was, what are my 3? Well, I can say
3 wishes.
3 wishes
for our future.
That our children will walk with the Lord, get to know Him better, and will also be so in love with the Lord that they will also tell others that their light will be a shining light.
Yes.
Okay. And my second wish is for us, we can be the first also, that our relationship will continue to grow and that umabot tayo ng silver tsaka ng golden. Kaya pa ba yun?
Abot pa ba sa edad natin? Ilan ba ang golden? 50th?
50. So, 42 years na lang.
Ilan taon ka na?
55. 97.
So, ha?
Pagdating ko na 97.
Pagdating na.
Oo.
Ako ilan taon ako?
Kaya kailangan may name tag tayo.
Baka malimutan na kita.
Ikaw nga. Sino ka ba, Iha?
Iya.
Kasi forever 21 ka eh.
Oh.
Yes. Although sarado na yung tindahan mo yun.
Okay. So, what's another wish?
Number 2. Number 3 would be my wish is yun, na ay magkaapo. Makita pa natin mga apo.
Kay Joshua.
Si Elijah. Pwede pa rin naman kay Elijah.
Pwede pa ba? Unless mag-asawa siya ng aga.
Yeah, I really like to have a big family. So, yun. Yeah, nasa 70 na ako. Pero, diba, nag-change na kasi
Excuse me.
wala na akong ambition for myself personally kasi I feel that I've already accomplished, the things I wanted to accomplish when I was younger in my 30s and 40s, and parang wala na akong energy or the desire to seek quote-unquote fame or fortune and accomplishments and recognition, unlike before. Although before, my driving force was really to be excellent. If I had the business, I had to be excellent. And then nangyayari, may mga recognition, may mga entrepreneur of the year, may mga reading books. Pero now my ambition is really to live a quiet life and to raise our children in the knowledge of the Lord. To hang out with you.
Hang on the clothes, by the clothespin. Clothespin.
Yeah, to be healthy, to be fit. So my wish is that we will also enjoy our old age, our golden years in good health.
Yes,
I
mine too.
I don't want to be good. I still want to be hot for you.
Wow.
I want to have a six-pack when I'm 60.
Wow! Sino ka, Ramon Revilla?
Bakit may six-pack ba si Ramon Revilla?
Imagine ko kasi ilang taon na siya, may nagkakaanak pa siya eh.
Hindi ka na six-pack. 60 years old. Six-pack.
Pwede pa. 60, pwede pa. 5 years pa lang naman yun eh.
Oops. Ayun na naman to.
Okay. What's the next question?
Hmm.
Do I tell you I love you enough?
No.
I love you.
Minsan naman. Namiss ko.
love you.
Tsaka minsan namiss ko yung bigla kang touch mo yung yung leg ko. Tapos, bigla mo ako yung dati. Ngayon parang na ka na siguro sa breastfeeding. Parang,
Busy. Stress.
Pero,
Ibig sabihin ako yung break. May kailangan ng break.
what are 2 things we forgot to celebrate this year? Did we forget to celebrate anything? We have dates every week.
We celebrated your birthday, my birthday, Elijah's birthday.
Well, you can ask
we
that.
didn't celebrate Elijah's birthday?
No, we did. No, but I'm saying that I don't think this is something that we miss out on. But maybe for others, you can also ask your spouse, are you satisfied with the amount of time we spend together? Yeah, yes or no lang naman yun. Yes.
Yeah.
Or
You're
no.
satisfied.
Or no.
No, you want to spend more time.
Quality time. There's quantity
kasi
time.
I'm always with the baby.
Like snuggle time. Wala na snuggle time masyado. Or I miss when we used to have long dates.
Do you feel more emotionally connected than we did early in our relationship?
Of course. Yeah. Especially when I see you with our kids and we're breastfeeding them, and I get kilig.
Talaga? Watching me breastfeed?
Yeah, kasi this is the mother of my children, and nakikita ko ito yung mga anak ko with you and you're taking care of them. So I feel this connection. And I know that you're so happy also connecting with them through breastfeeding them. So
It's the best feeling.
so sabi ko na one day ako rin makakapag-breastfeed.
Asa ka pa. Yan ang ano, asa ka.
Sana all. Na-displace na ako.
Uy, pero posible yun Posible yun
Tatlo
for
kami.
men to
Breastfeed?
to produce breast milk. In fact,
I
even if
can.
you're single and never been pregnant,
A man can produce breast milk?
a woman can, and so can a man.
I can produce milk?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Don't tell that to Elijah.
Parang
Breast
ano,
milk!
merong, ano nga ba yun?
Hanapin siya sa akin.
Basta merong
Breast
organization that pushes for
Men? I've never heard of
nursing
that.
here
Men
in the
nursing?
Philippines.
Men
Now,
nursing?
Yeah, all women can nurse whether
Wow.
they've been pregnant or not. And also, men can lactate. I don't know if
Wow.
as much as women can, pero it's
I've
possible.
never heard of that. Okay, maybe I'll edit that out. But that's something new. Okay, I'm sure you're not making that up.
What are a few ways I need to be more understanding? Okay, ways to improve.
More understanding. Siyempre, a man's or husband's top of mind first need is need for intimacy. And sometimes I feel that you don't understand. Pag nabanggit ko, okay, mamaya ha? And then parang, pwede din gawin, nakalimutan na. So, but I understand. So, I understand that you need to understand. And so, I understand na kung hindi mo ma-understand, understand ko naman.
Understood. Okay,
You ask him.
noted. Noted.
O, di ba I mean, most of our audience are women. In fact, when I look at the algorithm or the analysis, it's 95% women and wives. So my message to the wives, women who are listening, is to understand your husband's needs also, and not to just, shove it,
Push them
push it
aside.
aside and say,
They're
okay,
asking.
it's okay, they'll understand naman. Pero on our part, syempre,
Do you feel rejected?
Hindi man feel rejected, but you feel underappreciated. Hindi, parang we just feel that
Under-considered.
hindi, that, di ba, dapat sa priorities, di ba? Oh, that's what you preach when you talk to women. Always remember, your number one priority is your husband and then your children. So parang nangyari, number one priority, children, and then if there's any time left, it's me. So, yeah. So parang I have to devise ways to take you away so that I can have you for myself. I'm not complaining. It's just an observation. But I would appreciate if, diba? When we had this blog with Edric and Joy, diba? There was this advice that for the men, change your approach. So that's what I try to do. Change your approach. And then the advice to women was, you remember? Make an approach.
Make an approach.
So some husbands
You
change your
mean
approach.
when it comes to intimacy?
Yes. So make an approach naman.
Okay, noted.
That's what I miss. Kasi in the first few, especially the first year and the first 10 years, parang
approach to each other.
Parang ako na yung maawat.
Ito? Hindi, kasi iba din yung season natin di ba? Iba din naman yung demands na may newborn.
I understand.
Tapos halos magkasunod pa sila.
I understand. Pero minsan, kahit konting pagdating.
Pero doon sa dami naman ng hiningan mo ko, ilang beses ako nag-turn down. Madalas ba ako nag-turn down?
Turn down or nakakalimutan. So, kasi I understand, gabi na, tapos na, so sige na, alam mo na. So, that's why last Friday, dinate kita di ba? Sinadya ko na talaga. Di ba?
Dahil mahal kita, hindi tayo nagpunta sa Sogo. Nagpunta tayo sa condo.
Masarili natin Sogo. Dahil mahal kita.
Tapos
nag-aaya ka pa, uwi na lang tayo. Tapos I was getting so disappointed na. Because you know what's gonna happen once we get home.
Breast milk, mama, breast milk.
So, time naman, we have to set aside time for ourselves. Diba?
So, thank you nga minsan you schedule swimming dates with me. Kasi otherwise, sobra talaga ako engaged with the kids. And ready for me to be around. So I appreciate that you take me away.
Okay, I shall take you away more.
San Benito Farm. San Benito Farm. San Benito Farm. Yeah! San Benito Farm. Yeah! San Benito Farm. Yeah! Mga 30,000 yata.
For a weekend? 30K? Parang monthly rent na yun.
For one night.
Ng isang
Dito po check natin. Okay. Anything else? How long are we now? 1 hour 40 minutes na. Akala ko ba 30 minutes lang
yan.
tayo.
1 hour. That was waiting time.
Diyan. So we're done. 40 minutes na pala.
Yes. Okay. So, hope you learned, picked up something, and take the cue to spend time with your partner, with your life partner, with your forever honeymooner partner, and ask questions. Hindi rin puro kain. How's your meal? Okay. Anong lakad mo mamaya?
Siya nga pala, magbabayad na tayo ng Meralco.
Or, ayun na, kamusta yung mga bata? Di ba? Parang same. So, yun. So, just Google those questions. I also have some icebreaker questions that I put in my wallet, in my man wallet, my purse. So next time we go out on a date, we can use that also.
Okay, cool.
All right. So again, thank you for listening, and maraming salamat. Nag 13,300 subscribers na tayo.
Yay! Thank you so much for subscribing, for watching. Please share if you like. If you're inspired, do mention in the comments, share with your friends. Get them to subscribe as well so that they too will be inspired by our content.
And watch out, we have booked, okay, should I say the names na? Coming soon, we have Anthony Pangilinan and Marisa Laksa Pangilinan guesting on our show. Okay, that's coming soon. And we have a couple more surprises who you appreciate. So make sure that you click the notification bell para you'll be notified.
Informed whenever we
Hindi lang
upload a new
subscribe.
video.
Yeah. Sasanay na ako mag-ano.
Next.
YouTuber.
Pro ka na, pro.
Okay, dokie. God
Bye.
bless you all.
Till our
And
next
remember,
video.
be forever honeymooners. God bless.
Bye.
Mama.
Mwah.